Okay, I think we're getting there. Hopefully. All right, sound check 1 2 3. And here we go. Okay, that's playing back pretty well. Okay, let's do this. And let's go live. Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to another episode of Jack Does Some Drawing Stuff. We are live here on the interwebs. And today, you can see what we're drawing, and that is a little bit of Moon Knight. One sec, I'm trying to adjust my tablet now before we even get started. Just so I've got something to work off. I'm going to put this down flat. Let me just adjust my mic so I sound good. And let's just begin. I'm just going to make sure this is all playing right. I think we're good. I think I'm fine. How do I... If I'm right in saying... Alright, that's coming up sideways, which isn't helpful. Alright, screw it. Let's just hop right into it. Welcome back. It's another Monday. We are going to get our draw on. We're going to sketch. It's going to be a good time. I had a second monitor there just to check on things. So every now and again, if I look that way, don't think I'm going insane. I'm just checking on myself, basically. Make sure I sound fine. Let me just do an audio test. 1 2 3. Yeah, alright. We are sounding good. As you can see in front of me today, we're going to be drawing Moon Knight. Oh boy. First chat from viewer. Hey, hey. How are we getting on? Lovely stuff. We got a first chat, viewer and all. This is fun. Alright, so as you can see here, we got a commission for Moon Knight. Mr. Mark Spector, basically Marvel's Batman. Marvel's answer to Batman. It's like, what's Batman if Batman was like 100 guys, basically. And here we have him. We started with a light sketch, built it up a little bit, added some more details. Then I went in here, and I'll be honest, I think I may have gone a little crazy on the shading and adding too many details. For something that we are going to be drawing over, I definitely went way too far on this guy. Even added a few lighting, so I'm just going to drop this down so that looks even cooler and more dramatic. So, let's just start building onto this guy. One sec. Okay, first things first. This is going to be a digital painting, and I know everything I've done this far, from like the character designs to all the other drawings, they have all been like these fun illustrative stuff, but for this one we're going to be mixing it up a little bit, and I think we're going to go with something a little bit more painterish, a little more fun. So I'm going to grab, I got a kind of color palette in mind, a rough one. Well, obviously we'll experiment and change it around, but Let's just add. How's this look? Ooh, that's nice. All right. We're going to bring that down, up the size a little bit, up our opacity. I'm going to drop this down here, and now we're talking. Okay, we're just going to edge in a bit of color. Just something a little experimental, just something a little fun for our Moon Knight. Maybe a little pink. We'll find something. It's just experimenting, and obviously this is just some background stuff for now. Obviously, our boy Mark Spector is going to be getting his own like series soon, so I thought some fan art would be fun. Plus, someone's willing to pay for it, it's even better. So the idea here is, because this character is mostly white, it's going to be a lot easier if we just draw onto this instead. So we're going to add a little bit of a colorful background. All these images here, I'm just going to condense them into one so we can turn it on and down, scale it up and down. I realized I should have stretched or said something or done some other tests before I just hop straight into this, but it should be fine. Let's see, let's turn off that base sketch. And you know what? We can get rid of it. We don't really need it. All we need is our line work here, because this is going to be the main part for it. So, once we have that, we're going to get into the actual color part. So Moon Knight, unlike Batman, who's like, he's got grays, he's got blacks, he's got like silvers, Moon Knight's mostly just white. From memory, he almost only wears white. So, we're going to have some fun here with the tones, with just the way we interpret that, because a lot of our color palette is going to be that, and then, you know, that, and then let's get some experimental stuff in here. Let's get wild with it. Maybe a bit of that. Nope, that's too green. We don't like that at all now. Won't be having that. There we go. That's going to be our color palette basically, because you know, as cool as Moon Knight is, colors wise, a little boring, but that's fine. We can play around with that. If you got any questions or anything, just fire them in here. I know we got a few viewers going, so feel free to hop on, say whatever you want, really. Let's just add some stuff. Alright, we always got to make sure we are on a layer below this guy. Fun fact, you can lock layers in this, so that means you can turn them on and off, but if you see here I try and go on, I can't paint on top of that. Wait 1 second, it'll tell me that's locked. This is a really handy trick if you ever need to add or get rid of stuff, but you're scared you're going to ruin your top layer, because I always do it where I'm working on what I think is the underlayer like this. Then I look and I realize I'm on the wrong layer. I've done it in multiple videos, so you know that stuff. So we're just going to get in here, and we're going to start with my favorite way to do this, and that is by getting our shadows in here. We got to mark in, mark, get it? How many times am I going to say mark throughout this episode when talking about Moon Knight, the Mark Spector himself? I'm just going to lock in where our shadows are going. This is where the handy part of having this layer is. Okay, maybe I will unlock that for a second, just so we can see what we're doing. I've already kind of mocked in where all the lighting's going to be, so a lot of it's going to be shadows on this side and then a good bit of lighting over on this side. So if you can imagine, our light source is coming from here, which is going to project the shadows onto this side over here. So with that cleared up, I'm going to hop back in on this layer. Actually, I'm going to restart that layer. Grab a bit of black. And basically, I'm going to lock in where I think my major shadows are going to go. These will be changed. They're going to be moved around a bit, but just for like a reference sake, making my life easier, we're going to go up and down and just add where the light is. There's a lot of little folds here because it's kind of a very fabric-y costume. So to match that, we're going to go in here. Definitely going to be a lot of darkness. And just anywhere we think shadows are going to be majorly, heavily added, I'm just going to mark those off now. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Mark Spector, the Moon Knight, he's basically Batman, but just insane. Hey, what's up, Owen, my man? What are we getting on? I'm just here talking about how Moon Knight is basically just Marvel's Batman. He's Batman, but slightly more fucked in the head somehow, which is insane. I mean, like, while Batman is crazy in a man in a batsuit way, Moon Knight's, like, legit crazy. Like, it's wild. One sec, I'm just going to test the audio one more time. It's funny because I have another screen here, another laptop, where I'm watching myself on a different piece just to make sure I can hear everything and everything sounds good. The only thing is there's a few seconds delay, so it's really disorienting, so I'm not going to keep that in my ear the whole time. Okay, so as you see, I'm going to turn this down, and we are going to add some stuff here. So has everyone seen the Moon Knight trailer? Or does anyone think it looks good, bad, terrible, amazing? Honestly, it looks strange. I know nothing about Moon Knight, but the trailer has got me hyped for the show. I hope Disney continues to make more gritty and grown-up shows. Yeah, no, honestly, I'm the exact same. I hope that this one's a little darker than the other stuff. Like, what was the last thing they did? Hawkeye, which I guess was a Christmas movie basically, but they split it into a bunch of episodes. I had fun with Hawkeye. I enjoyed a good chunk of it, but I would not call it gritty by any sense, any means. Same with Book of Boba Fett. I think that was like all over the place. But honestly, Moon Knight could be their chance to do a good one. I really loved what they did with WandaVision, and I like some of Loki, so it might be fun to go dark and weird with Moon Knight. I've been trying to avoid reading or watching anything about the show just because I want to go in blind. I've only read one Moon Knight run ever. Although, that said, cannot wait to break into this bad boy once we get off air. A little bit of Shadow and the Moon Knight. Apparently, it's going to be a super weird, dark and gritty Moon Knight story, which I'm so in for. Okay, as you can see here, I'm just dropping in some light source. Opposite light source. Some shadow sources. We'll be adding and taking away a good chunk of these. That's why I'm keeping it with a simple black, because I can just move them around the whole time. Let's add those in. They're already adding a little bit more life to this piece. See, here's the thing. When we take this away, we want to be able to see the shapes, basically. We want to be able to see what goes where without having to... Ooh, that should be multiply, not darken. Although darken does work. Let's see. Throw this back on. And now we're going to make a secondary shadow layer. See, this is why we lock it. Multiply. And let's lock that layer. There we go. Now we are cooking. See? This is it. This is what I was talking about earlier. You like the live action costume? I think it looks like... That's weird because there's one of them I really like. This one, the one I'm painting, really big fan of it. I think they fucking nailed it on that one. Still waiting to see how they move and how they react to stuff. That's going to be strange. I think it'll be good, but I want to wait and see. I'm holding out hope on this one. That said, I don't like the Mr. Knight costume, which is weird because I think he's my favorite Moon Knight character. It's like Moon Knight, he's got a nice suit and he's looking cool, he's looking clean cut. I don't know why, I'm just not a fan of that suit. I think it's the way they've done the stitching or the texture of it, because it could just be one of those things that looks great in a comic page but doesn't look great in live action. I am a big fan of what they're doing with this though, the kind of Batman-y super suit. This one I'm a massive fan of. I think they kind of nailed the hood, they nailed the look for it. I think this one's pretty spot on. Although at this stage, Marvel has a fantastic track record with superhero costumes. Like, gone are the days of black spandex and like really awkward, like unmovable costumes. Now they basically nail it with anything they go for, which is pretty sick. I hope I leaned far enough away from the mic there so you guys get some good ASMR of me drinking. See, once again, we just gotta lock in these darker areas. We'll lighten them up later on, but for now, we just want to block in every major shadow. Just because it's gonna make the whole painting process easy later. So this is basically what my painting style is. It's basically the same thing you've seen me do when coloring, except this time it's expanded outwards. This time it's a little bit more free flowing and there's a lot more goes into it. The white supersuit is what I was talking about. Yeah, no, the white supersuit looks great. I'm a big fan of that. The Mr. Knight costume doesn't though. And I don't know what it is. I think it's just, it looks off. It looks slightly, it's got like a weird stitch down the face and it doesn't look right to me. Maybe I need to see it in action. I need to see it moving and see how it works. But yeah, no, it's strange. I would much prefer if we got like all the costumes right. I really want to see, there's one, and it's kind of like, it's a cleaner version of the suit you see now. So it's not like the rag suit. It's like, it is basically the Batman suit. I'm kind of hoping they're saving that for like the last episode or the last 2 episodes. Like that's going to be a big reveal that, oh, here's your other personality. He built you this. I'd love that. I don't know if we will get that or not, but that would be nice to see. See, that's the thing I do a lot with these Marvel shows, and I think a lot of people do it. I'm not the only one, but they basically we're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they did this and this and this, and no matter what they do, it won't live up to that thing that we've already speculated in our head. Oh, wouldn't it be great if John Krasinski turned up and he was Mr. Fantastic? Yeah, that'd be great, but don't think that's going to happen. But because we build up those expectations so much, we inevitably become disappointed. Alright, I'm going to keep jumping between these layers here just so I can kind of block in where I think my shadows are going to flow. You can see once I start getting to that second layer of blacks, it immediately shows me what I'm missing, basically. What needs to be added so we can really darken this guy up. There we go. Now we're talking. Yeah, just really play with those. Okay, and just final piece of lighting. I think I'm going to add in a nice little spotlight as well on the other side. Woo. Love hitting the mic. We love just smacking that mic around the place. Let's see, what color did I throw as the background? Okay, so here's a fun trick when looking for a highlight. We'll go to what will basically be an alternate color to this. What'll be a nice reflection of this color. So if we're going purple on this, whoop, back to normal. What is the, yeah, perfect. Go in here and we're just gonna add this going down the side. Really, once again, this is just a rough light source. So this is where our light is going to be coming from. We'll really clean these up and blend them in once the actual piece kicks off. But first, it's just nice to have a rough version of that. So if we take away all that lighting, all our line work, and just leave us with the lighting. Let's see, screen, turn that down slightly. You can already see, just from the shadows and all that, you can immediately make out who the character is, what we're looking at. That's perfect. That's exactly what we are going for. So now I'm going to group all these together. Let's rename that to, one sec. How do I, oh yeah, I got to rename that by hand. Let's see, light. There's definitely a preferences thing there. There has to be something where you can go into your iPad and you can change it so it says lighting. Sorry, so you can go in and you don't have to type it with your pen, that you can just type up with the keyboard immediately. Because every time I go to write something, say I go change the name there, immediately the pen comes up and then the keyboard. I much prefer if it was just the keyboard. I hate writing with the Apple Pen. I cannot write with this bad boy. It just really bugs me. Okay, now that we have that lighting done, let's turn that off. And now it is time to start cracking down on our colors. Add. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna add a reference image. I pulled one up a minute back. Whoop! No, 1 second. I'm doing this wrong. Add. Give me a sec for technical difficulties. Referencing. Oh, that's fun. It's upside down. Yay! Let's flip the iPad. Flip this image. Image import. Oh, shish. Here we go. Here's the reference image that I pulled from the trailer for this illustration. So this is going to be really handy. Let's chuck him up the top corner. Is he visible? He is. Alright. This is fun because I got to jump between 3 screens now, which is even more fun. So I got the iPad, I got the laptop, and now I have the new laptop that I'm staring at here. So let's grab a color. So here's the fun part. We can grab some colors from this guy. Here's the fun part. I should speak into the mic. Here's the fun part. We can grab some colors from this guy as direct reference for when we're filling in the colors on this guy. So let's just what pen do I have on? Yep, perfect. And now here is going to be the hard part. Here we have to get the line work on point because this is going to be our key shapes. And I know a lot of different artists have different techniques to how they approach this, but personally, I like to get the shapes spot on. I know a lot of artists go, hey, do these big sections of color first and worry about the details later, but I like to get the full shapes done first to make our lives just a little bit easier down the road. So let's see. We can draw this over here. It's going to be going up there. We'll drop you down behind. Add a little bit of just shape to it. So this is the part normally you'd see where I'd have the inks. This is, in place of the inks, I'm just going to go straight colors. And that's the major difference. Almost the only major difference is I'm removing the inking process. So instead of any hard black lines or anything like that, we're just going direct coloring. But because of that, that means my rendering, meaning my textures, my lighting, all that, has to be 10 times better. Has to be way more on point for these now. Because I can't use any line work to cover up any mistakes I make. So boom, 1 second there. As you can see, I'm just taking the white, which you can grab from that top right corner. And if I drop it out there, it's going to turn the whole thing white, but we don't want that. I drop it inside, it's going to turn him white. And now when we chuck this on, boom, direct contrast. Does it show his cape in that image? It does not. I'm just going to grab a alternate white, just a little sneaky off-white. I'm going to fill that in for the cape. Might even darken that again, just to really get that off-white color. More of a gray more than anything else, but we do need to distinguish the two. Let's see, throw it in there. Let's throw it down here. See, the only problem I'm scared we're going to run into is that the whites are going to be really hard to distinguish between. So that's where we're really going to have to play it up with the lighting and the shaping. And I know I've said that already, but it is going to be the biggest challenge on the rendering on this guy, is getting that lighting spot on. Because normally with an illustration like this, I can use color to separate sections, skin tones, armors, shiny. But with this, because he's basically a big walking block of white and gray, I really got to nail those color tones. 1 sec, so let's put you against that, remove this. Okay, we are getting there. I never get why it does this. When it does the fill effect, it leaves us 1 pixel in the difference. It must be a setting thing, it must be a brush thing, but every single time it happens, and it really bugs me because I got to go back around the whole area I just filled and clean it up basically. Make it look nice, and it's literally the distance of 1 pixel, but when that goes around the whole illustration, that's really annoying. And that should do it. Alright. And I know it's only a minor inconvenience, but it is still an inconvenience. Then we throw our lighting back on, and boom, done. Finished illustration. No, that's a joke, obviously, but we can now start having some fun with this guy. So I'm going to drop this in here as well. And I know you're wondering, why are you adding your flat colors in there? You normally don't do that, but that's so we can have a little bit of fun with this guy. 1 sec, up that lighting, by turning all of these into clipping masks. And I know you're thinking to yourself, why do such a thing? Why make a clipping mask out of it? And it's simple, really. It means now I can't go outside the lines. 1 sec, let's hop on this for example. I can fill all this in and not have to worry about going outside of the lines, which is going to make my life 10 times easier when I'm coloring this guy in later. See? Not a single outside line, no matter how hard I try. Try it on this other layer. I'm drawing out here, but it's not affecting it. But if I put it in here, you can see it's going to start filling in that shoulder straight away. Perfect. Okay. Let's turn this back on. And now we're going to disable that for a second. Okay. Now that we have a rough idea for what the colors are kind of going to look like, just slightly, and where our lighting is going to be, it is now time to start the blending process. So this is the fun part. We got to get a nice brush here, and we're just basically we're going to be beating the colors into where we want them to go. We're going to get these lighting going nice and smooth, make everything look just the way we are vibing with it. So let's just get in here with a nice blending brush and just kind of get that painterly feel to it. A nice little trick I like is to make the strokes go the direction of the object you're going. So for the chest here, obviously Moon Knight's gonna have a big curvy chest, so he's a very full bosom, so we are gonna have to add a good bit of curves to that. Same with down here, where because the light's coming that way, it's still gonna be curving around him, so we can just kind of work that back. And same with this object is more round, going around a circle like that, so let's hop in here and just start curling those bits a little bit, start rounding those boys out. And you'll see as we take that away, immediately it gets rid of that jagged kind of hard edge. And maybe a bit's lost in there, but it'll all make sense in a moment when we start packing these on top of each other. For now though, we just got to do this for every section. So and this is the bottom shadow. This is the lowest level of lighting on this piece. So we don't have to be super careful with. Obviously, we need to know what goes where, but we don't need to be super worried, super detailed, not judging everything. Just kind of fast in there, getting the shapes right. Just getting the shape and the tone on this guy right. So let's get that there. All these lines kind of flow into each other because we got to get the effect of light hitting the mask. And it's also going to add more three-dimensionality to this mask if it does have like light coming in, light going out. Not perfectly because it's layered on top of each other. It is fabric after all. But it will make this guy appear much more 3D. I want to get rid of that there. Just really curve it out. And every now and again we got to come out, turn off our line work just to check, see how it's looking. Okay, getting better. So obviously you can see here, not a massive fan of this. Just grab a ink brush, come back in, and just boom, there we go. Hop back up here. Let's just get the light. You see, there's, unlike those other illustrations where we have the line work, we have all the inking. With this guy, we gotta worry about the way the light kind of fades, because it can't just be a solid block of light. As you see, we go from like light gray to darker gray to dark gray on this guy. So if we want to get something similar on this illustration, we're gonna have to have some variation to the lighting. Not a huge amount, but just enough that you can tell that the lighting is getting stronger from one side towards the other. Let's do the same down here with the neck. This blending brush might be a little bit intense. I haven't actually used this one before. I'm just kind of testing it out. A lot of this stuff on this guy I'm just testing out. Fun fact. A lot of art is just dicking around until you figure out something cool, till something fun turns up out of it, or else, you know, you abandon the project. Either one. Hopefully we don't have to abandon this guy though, because it was for a commission, which I'm thankful for. I've been looking forward to the show for a little bit anyway, but when someone was like, yeah, do you want to draw him? I'll pay. I was like, yes, I will do that. I do want that immensely. So, if you have an idea for a piece you'd love to see me do, you say, oh man, I'm jonesing to see him draw Daredevil, draw Batman, whatever. Hit me up. Go to my Instagram, go to the comment section here, go to the YouTube part of this, and tell me, oh my goodness grief, I would love to see you do this character, that character, whatever really. I'd be so up for it. And if you're willing to pay, well, you might just get bumped to the top of that list. Whether it's a painting or more of my kind of digital illustrate, if it's more like a digital kind of inky illustration stuff, I'll take either. I'll do either. Just feel free to hit me up with it. Any ideas you want, anything you'd love to see, don't be afraid. Throw them on. Hell, even if you want to throw some suggestions in the chat there for shit we can do in the next coming weeks. I was thinking of Dr. Mickey Morbius Vampire, man. I think that'd be a pretty fun one to draw. But yeah, no, anyone or anything, feel free to add. Let's just get this guy looking. Okay, that's starting to come together. And I know you're saying that is the furthest thing from done. And it is not. It is not close. But it is looking better. Let's see. We've set that to about a 30%. And then we go to this next lighting layer. And basically the idea is we're going to do the exact same thing over again. So get my blending brush. I'm going to turn it down a little bit more this time. Really fine tune it, because this is the second layer of lighting now. So we got to be more careful with this layer, because this is a much more important layer. And it's a much more prominent layer as well. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Really gotta. You can hear my dog downstairs. It does not matter. He's a good boy, I swear. He's a good boy. Hope he's not being picked up on the mic. That would be. He's not exactly the special guest that I was hoping for. Let's just start blending these together. Alright, now we are talking. A little more darkness in there. And bring along that layer as well. Get rid of that. See, that's the thing. We're going to be adding more shadow as we go as well, just to kind of refine this guy. I'm liking this brush because it gives kind of how do I put this, like a kind of grainy effect. When I get up close there, you can really see it. Love to see the multiple versions of character where there's an evolution of Spider-Man, Batman, or Captain America. Chris Evans, different suit. Oh, the different suits as the characters. Yeah, no, 100%. Just reading that message there. I'm a massive fan of what is it? The black and red Spider-Man suit from it's in No Way Home and Far From Home, I think. I'm a really big fan of the design on that suit. I think they kind of nailed it with that one. I rewatched No Way Home actually last night. No, not last night. I was working last night. The night before last. Much better movie than I remember. Still not a great movie by any means, but the way they did Spider-Man's suit and that, and the way it flows and it moves, it looks way better than it has in any of the other movies. Like I feel like they really nailed the Tom Holland suit in that one. Like even the progression from just like the homemade suit that we see in one of those movies to the weird kind of almost 2 CGI version we saw in Civil War. I think Far From Home really nails the costumes in that, and maybe it's just the fact they also had Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's suits there for a little bit of comparing and contrasting to make it easy for us to see. But no, I think Tom Holland's suit looks really good in that. Let's see. The only suits that I think are getting, I feel like they have slightly gotten worse, are probably the way they do the Iron Man suit. I feel like it looked way more realistic and way better in the first few movies. Now it just kind of looks, how do I put this? Well, obviously he hasn't been in a movie in a few years. No Way Home, yeah. No, I was watching No Way Home last night. That's what I'm talking about. The suit looks really good in that. I think they finally got the Spider-Man suit looking just on point. But I think some of the suits, they suffer from the fact that they do them a little too CGI. I'm a much bigger fan of a practical suit, a man in a costume kind of thing. Because I think a lot of those CGI ones really lose a bit. One sec. They really lose just, how do I put that? Like a sense of authenticity to them. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think a lot of them don't work. There's a lot of floaty head syndrome as well, where it's just a CGI model and then you put a human head on it and it looks weird. I think we got a lot of that in the later stuff with Iron Man, which was kind of heartbreaking because I was a big fan of that character. Let's just get this lighting in here. Really Moon Knight this guy up. Do you not let's see. Do you not think No Way Home is great? Oh, No Way Home? No, not really. I don't think it's that great of a movie. I'll be honest. It's, how do I put this? I like it. I really like it. I have a really good time. It's a fun time. I love all the Spider-Men in it. I love all the villains. It was cool to see everyone back. You're doing I'm a bit of a scientist myself, but it's not a good movie. Like, it's not a good movie by almost any stretch. Like, it's a poorly put together film. It's, oh, hey, Spider-Man didn't get into college. I guess he's going to go talk to a wizard about it. Like, that is maybe the stupidest premise for any Marvel movie ever. There's no big villain reveal. There's no nothing. Don't get me wrong. I had a good time with it. There's cool shit in there. But overall, not a great movie. Kind of a dumb movie, I'll be honest. It's very much a concept more than it is an actual film. That said, I love seeing everyone back. So, like, I had a great time. I nearly cried twice. Let's see. I'm reading about the practical versus CGI suit. I know it's kind of different, but complaining about Iron Man to new Batman, it's not. The new Batman suit looks amazing, but it's also the fact they have a practical suit. Like, if you look at Batman in any of the Snyder stuff, when you have Ben Affleck or a body double, whoever, actually there in the suit, looks great. Looks so good. When you don't, when it's just like a weird CGI Batman, it's so easy to tell. They do an awful lot of like rubber suiting in that, basically. It feels like he's made of plastic anytime it's not actually the costume. And I think it's the same with the Iron Man suits. When they had physical costumes there, like you had RDJ or some stunt guy in a suit, I feel like they looked 10 times better. Like, I think there's this shot, and I can't remember, I think it's Civil War from memory. I might be wrong on this. But the suit looks atrocious on him. It looks so poorly done. Okay, this guy's starting to get there. I'm really starting to vibe with this guy. Let's really blend him in. We're definitely going to need another layer worth of shadows, I think, just to really tie this guy together. But we'll get to that momentarily. Yeah, one sec. Let's erase some of this as well. Because every now and again, we're going to go over some sections that aren't going to look great. But yeah, No Way Home, not a great movie by any stretch. And I know I've complained, I've talked the movie to death at this point, but it is, I feel like it's great in concept, not in actual execution. It's not a very good Spider-Man story either. Oh, Spider-Man is just like complaining the whole time, and he feels kind of useless compared to the other two Spider-Men. Maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but like, they seem way, obviously they're older, but like, once they turn up, it's like, why even bother having Tom Holland? He's by far the least entertaining of the three. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a much bigger fan of Andrew Garfield. That boy nails it as Spider-Man. He is pure gold. Terrible movies, but great Spider-Man. Okay, let's attempt this light layer for a second. And I'll stop complaining about Spider-Man for a while. So basically, same concept applies for this. So we're going to make you a clipping mask. We're going to go in here, and we're just going to... There we go. Let's add that as a highlight. We might even get rid of that and start that lighting again. I disagree about No Way Home. Well, no, that's fair. Everyone has their opinions. For example, I really like the Fast and the Furious movies, but I just don't think they're good movies. I think that's where I fall with No Way Home as well, where I have fun with it. I think it's a good time. I think it's a very poorly put together movie. I think it is sloppy and looks just like ugly in certain spots. But hey, that's just my opinion. Obviously, different folks, different strokes. Unlike the Batman, which if anyone disagrees with me on that, I'll kill them, because that is one of the greatest movies ever made. Obviously. Basically, Citizen Kane. The Batman is absolute art. It is beautiful in every aspect, visually, casting-wise. Oh, even the costumes, to go back to our costume talk, the costume in that looks so good. Alright, we're just adding these highlights in randomly again, I'll be real. I'm just kind of pulling them out of my ass at this point, but this is roughly where they should go. It'll make more sense once we take the lighting. Yeah, there we go. Let's see that. Yeah, alright, he's kind of looking a little Mortal Kombat-y, not gonna lie, but no, it's getting there. Let's just add a few more of these highlights in. We'll blend them in a sec, but it's important just to get these in. But yeah, the one thing that's bugging me about Moon Knight is also the fact that it's going to be, what is it, like 8 episodes I want to say, or 6 episodes? So, kill me now basically, because I'm just not in the mood to watch week to week 8 episodes. I might hold off this time. I don't know, I've said I'd do this every time and I haven't actually done it, but I think for this one I'm going to hold off and wait till the final episode's out before I start watching anything. Before I even give it the time of day, I may try and hold off until everything is out, and then I'll give it a watch. But, if I was stuck to every claim, well, we'd be doing a lot better now, wouldn't we? So I know I'll wait till like the morning it comes out and end up like watching it like 3 times. Because, I'm a Marvel bitch like that. You can say I got Captain America's shield there in the background. And like, I can't say anything. I love those movies. I've watched every single one of them multiple times, including No Way Home. Even though, trash movie or whatever. Alright, one sec. We gotta be careful with these highlights because I don't want to do too many layers of this like extra lighting. So I kind of just want to nail it on the first try. If we take that away, there we go. Let's just add that edge lighting there. That's gonna also add a little texture to them as well. This is the thing I love about this blending brush. It adds so much more texture. Normally a blending brush, if you see it, it just kind of, it makes things look muddy, but this one really adds some nice texture to the piece. Really adds a bit of zest. Let's just, alright, I might scale that down a little bit. Get in there with that stuff. Okay, here we go. Let's scale it up a little bit more for those. Also, for the actual grays and the whites inside the suit itself, we will come back to those later on, because I feel like I'm going to have to do another pass just on to separate the different grays. But we'll get to those in a momento. Let's just get all up in these. Yeah, really just basically we want to be contrasting what we already have. So where it is most gray, we will have big specks of white. Just really direct contrast, a little art fundamentals. Wherever there's darkness, gotta add a little light to it as well. Help separate out your piece. Let's do, there we go. Add a little more in here. I feel like this part's really getting lost. And now let's play with this. I'm feeling like a screen, maybe. Or else maybe making it an add layer. I'll be honest, I don't know what half these do. Ooh, maybe an add layer, but we turn it down slightly. There we go. Let's really, yeah, turn that up a bit. Add a little more edge to him. There we go. And then along the cape here. I don't want to get too lost in it, but something along those lines. Alright, he's starting to come together now. I don't think... Ooh, big long quote. I actually don't like Tom Holland until this movie. I think the fact that the story ends as he should have. Peter sacrificed his friends after the last Doctor Strange and MJ. Ned and I think probably still too much for the death of his Uncle Ben. You see, it's weird because, like, how do I put this? That last few seconds when he puts the homemade costume on and he jumps out of the terribly built apartment and he's Spider-Man. That's great. I just don't like the fact it took 3 movies to get there. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like, how do I put this? I feel like we could have done that in 2 movies or 3. I don't think we needed 2 or 3 movies to do it. I think you could have done that in 1. That said, there's still some really cool stuff in there. The fact that he does basically end the movie alone is great. I love that. I love that Peter Parker's got to struggle for things, that it doesn't just come to him naturally. Because a lot of the problems with the Spider-Man we've had so far are, well, hey, everything comes to him naturally. He's basically Iron Man Jr. So yeah, no, I love that. I love the fact that, you're right, he doesn't get everything he wants at the end. That's great. I even like the fact that he doesn't get to be with Ned and MJ at the end. That's great. That said, I kind of hope they keep it that way. They won't. They always do go back and change these things afterwards, and maybe a movie down the line or 2 movies. Probably just 1 movie, let's be honest. Because they like those actors and people want to see them, and Zendaya's like, you know, one of the biggest actors ever. Let's see. An agreement about the first 2, but build up was nice because of how good the Here's the thing. I like that final fight. I think it's great. I like the fact that Spider-Man actually tries to murder someone. That's great. But I don't know. Still feels like a little bit of weak sauce. I'll be real. I can't put my fingers on it, but like, he doesn't really save anyone because those people all go home to die anyway. They die. They're actually more likely to die now because they don't have their powers. But like, I feel like Dr. Octopus was way less likely to die when he had those 4 arms holding a big sun than when he didn't have 4 arms still holding a big sun. Or, you know, Green Goblin not having the formula in him or not being psychotic makes almost no difference in the grand scheme of him glidering himself to death. But yeah, I do know what you mean. I do see where you're coming from on those points. I want to see him do something new in these next ones though. Like, it's good, what we've had has been fun so far, but I cannot take another like 3 movies of him getting up to shenanigans and learning what it means to be Spider-Man again. You're Spider-Man, just be Spider-Man, do Spider-Man stuff from now on. Just keep, please, doing Spider-Man stuff. Okay, let's start getting in here. I think we're going to need another shadow layer, basically. How are we doing on time? Damn, 45 minutes already. We are getting into it. Okay, one sec. I'm going to take a sup. 45 minutes, and 35 minutes of which have just been complaining about Spider-Man No Way Home. My favorite terrible movie. Alright, it's not that bad a movie. It's actually pretty good. Okay, one sec. Let's start differentiating some of the lighting on this guy. So, we'll add a little bit of gray. I'm thinking, what sections can we change the coloring on a little bit? Feel like he's got a bit of armor to him. So, inking. Let's add that armor in here. How do I do this? Yeah, there we go. We're gonna need like a bright silver, like a dark silver maybe. We're gonna get Spider-Man's like 21 jumps. Oh, 100%. We're gonna get them until the day we are dead, and even when we die, they're gonna bring out more Spider-Man. Like, that's why they got little Tom Holland so young, so they can at least whine another 6 movies out of him minimum. I think we get 6, 7 more Tom Holland Spider-Man movies at the bare minimum. And then once they're gone, he's dead. Then we'll talk about, you know, getting a Miles Morales or getting a Spider-Gwen in there. but not till they've weaned Tom Holland for everything they can. It's the same with Batman, though. Like, we're gonna get another 1,000 Batman movies. I'm okay with it. I've come to terms with the fact we're getting another 1,000 Batman movies. Like, for as long as I live, there will be more Batman movies. That happens. I'm okay with that. I eventually think, in the grand scheme of things, there's so many Batman movies to happen that eventually everyone gets to be Batman. Like, they'll keep going until I get to play Batman, you get to play Batman, everyone gets to be Batman. I think he signed a new contract for 6. See, there we go. 6 more films. I'm reading the message there. 6 more films of Tom Holland. Bring it on. Good for him. I'm happy for him. I mean, like, you do you, Tom Holland. I don't think Uncharted's going to work out anytime soon, so, you do you. 1,000 more Spider-Man movies, 1,000 more Batman movies. Do it. Let's do it. I'm so in. I'm on. I'm all in. Eventually, like, they gotta kill all. There's gonna be so few actors left that even I get to play Batman. I'm so hyped for that. Hopefully, I get the big rubber nipples as well for my Batman. I've never said the term "big rubber nipples" out loud and been on board with the idea for it, but here we are. That's the progression right there. Let's see. Let's tone these down a little bit. Fuse them back in. Add those. Okay, now our Moon Knight's starting to come together. I'm really feeling this guy. Okay, now I think we need to add a little bit of directional light. So obviously we have these highlights here, but another major aspect we can have is a fun little directional light. So in the first video I talked about the idea of secondary and primary colors. So basically a primary color would be, say, red, yellow, or blue. But in direct contrast to that, if you put 2 primaries together, the next color will be perfect. Make big rubber nipples. Big rubber nipples is the soundbite that anytime you put one of those coins or symbols in, like you send money to my Patreon, I'll send you a recording of me saying big rubber nipples in different voices. I'll do impressions. I'll be like Heath Ledger from the Joker. I'll be like, big rubber nipples, or I could probably do Bane as well. Maybe when Norman Osborn, like, I'm a bit of a big rubber nipple myself. Every time someone contributes to the Patreon, I will say the words big rubber nipples. I think that's the way to do it. I think that is the best way to do this. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, color theory. I was on a color theory before I went on a big rant about big rubber nipples. So purple is mostly made up of a combination of blue and red. So to go over that, we will go with yellow as a direct contrast to it. Ooh. Why is that not showing? Oh, right. We're stuck in the loop that is our fucking, what is it called? Our clipping mask. So let's see. We will be using the clipping mask, but just not for a second. So I'm going to get us a nice, let's see. Let's get a nice airbrush. Trying to think of a nice brush we can use. I feel an airbrush. Maybe a soft brush. How's that look? Yeah, there we go. New layer. Get that nice and big. Scale that down. Let's just add this in here. Add a nice glow to him. Nice healthy yellow glow. Nice piss yellow glow. That's the good stuff right there. One sec. Scale it up a little more. Move it down through the body. Really intensify it on this side. And now we're going to fall back into our clipping mask trap. Haha, you thought we were out of the clipping mask, but no, we are not. Let's just scale that down a little bit, and then we'll just flick through these until we find something that works with it. Let's see. Ooh, that's kind of nice to subtract, but nah. Herd mix. Scale it down. Nah. Trying to find what would be a good combo with this. Maybe it's just the choice of yellow. Maybe we need to go again. Try maybe some lighter blue. Maybe that could work. Okay, that kind of works. Gives him kind of a cool effect. Really bring it down across him. And then let's clip and mask this bitch. And then I'm going to bring these highlights. I'm going to move them up over that. There we go. Now we're talking. I feel like I say now we're talking pretty much as much as I say big rubber nipples. It is just a common staple at this point. It's really, maybe not blue, maybe red. What does it look like with red? Oh, no. See, there is a classic mistake of being on the wrong layer. Alright. If we try this and we add red, no, go red. Or maybe it won't go red. Every now and again, it just doesn't do what you want, and that's okay. Ooh, now we are taught. Maybe red was the way to go after all. Let's see. Clipping mask. Let's turn that down a little bit. Oh, now we are talking. This is what I was jonesing for. So yeah, other highlights for the Patreon, if you can get people to go on there, it'll be me saying big rubber nipples in multiple voices, obviously, but also things such as feet pics, not mine, just other people's, which I will find on the internet forward to you. Let me think. Sketches, if you want the original sketches before. Oh, this is pretty. Sorry, I got distracted from my stupid joke. That's not terrible. Also, I've officially given up on this background. I'm not a fan of it anymore. I think we're gonna come up with something else to throw in there in a second. Let me see. Separate that out. Let's add just some shapes, some colors, I guess. What can we go? Textures. See, we just need something that we can contrast against. What does Sawtooth look like? And that kind of looks like someone smeared shit behind him. Maybe, what's this? Okay, that's not terrible. Maybe we combo that with the blue. Alright, okay. Maybe, we'll see. Come back to that. Yeah, maybe if we tone the background down a bit. Okay. Then we lighten this. Maybe red instead. Alright, that kind of just looks like blood, I'll be real. You know what, we'll experiment with the background later. We'll just leave that like that for now. Well, hello there. Loving the shading on this. Thank you very much. See, I went a little far on the original version of it. Let's turn that lighting off. Let's scale it up. Oh, why won't you unlock? There we go. Went way too far on the scale shading on this guy. So now we are trying to overcompensate. You know, something I do often. By trying to rework the lighting in here. So when we take it away, it's just going to look like one even piece. We're not there yet, but we are getting there. And that's what matters. Okay, let's see what we can do on this guy. I think we're definitely going to need one more black layer in here. Because as you can see, this armor is super dark in here. So we can start adding that in here. And it's just going to help refine these edges a little bit as well. Let's just get in there. Underneath this, try and separate these out a little bit. Because as you can see, these kind of separate out a good bit. Let's see. Also, I've stopped listening to myself on the other monitor because at this point it's kind of wrecking my head trying to listen to the two at once. Obviously, I'm trying to check audio every now and again, but it is just really annoying hearing yourself over and over, but at a certain few second delay. I don't know like how to fix that, but maybe it's just a Wi-Fi thing, but it is just a few seconds delay and it really bugs me. Let's see, let's add this in here, fill that in. Okay, where else? Woo, let's not make him Scarface. Add this in like that. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be the shadow layer that brings it all together. Also, I have to go back in and fix some of the line work in there, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I'm going to throw this on. There we go. It'd be handy if I just looked at my line work. Oh, sounds good. Thanks. I'd love to hear it. See, here we go. It'd be handy if I had been working with my line work on, because I can get a good bit more done here. Curve this up. Let's see. One line in there. One on that. And we'll go along the edge here as well, just so we know where our boundaries are. Kind of speaking to this piece here, and a little bit on the edges of each of these. It'll make sense in a minute when I drop the line work. You can see kind of what I'm going for with this. But up that edge, right here on the big rubber nipples. Once again, feel free to contribute. Anybody adds to the Patreon, I will start shouting about big rubber nipples or whatever. That is just the way these things go. Let's see, a bit down here. It's funny, I don't get a message one end of the day to the other. I look over here, and just as we've started streaming, I have something like 7 messages. Either the house is on fire, or someone's died. But I am never this popular. Let's add that there, and a little bit down this edge. Really darken him up. We're going to make this guy look nice and gritty. Add a bit to the edge, and we're gonna have to add that same amount of light in here. Alright, I think next up we're gonna have to do some lighting around those eyes, because I'm looking at them here, they're really bright, they really have a glow to them, and I think that could be fun to mess around with. Let's turn this off. Okay, that's looking kind of cool. Let's disable that for a second. I sounded surprised there, as if like I didn't know it was gonna I was gonna affect it, but let's see if I remove that, turn that down slightly, and now we got to get in here amongst his nippers and just really clean them up. Really get this bandage boy looking good. Really work the light in here. As I mentioned earlier, you really gotta basically move to the way move the shape. One more time. Move the lighting in the direction of the shape. So in the chest sense, we're moving this chest because it's a nice big round chest. We're going to want to get it looking like that, basically. Let's see. Also, we're going to have more fun trying to get these like little sketchy line bits in a minute. That's going to be a fun little challenge in one momento. But until we get there, let's just keep adding the darkness in there. I think we just add little bits there. Just little like little drag lines. Really just add those. Now he's coming together. Now the lighting's starting to kick in a bit more. We can add that, just unharshing that a little bit. We know where that's going to be, but I think we could even add a little bit more here. Just get my brush up. Just so it really looks darker, because the image we are working with is quite dark. There we are. But yeah, if anyone has any suggestions for the next digital painting, feel free to fire them on. I mean, if you want to pay for them, pay for them. If not, I'll do them for free anyway, let's be honest. Love me a nice little digital painting. And each one of these I do get slightly better, so I love the practice element to it as well. I love the idea of self-improvement on these bad boys. Like, compared to the first one, this one, they're getting stronger. Slowly but surely, they are getting stronger. Let's add that. Yahoo! Now we are talking. You can see once again where having the brush strokes come the direction you're looking for helps so much. How did we forget under the neck? Under the neck, in almost every painting or illustration I ever do, under the neck is 90% of the time is the darkest area. Just because you know how big the head is, it just always autofills in there to really darken it up. But it really creates just these massive shadows. Let's add that in here. Let's do some facial work. Get his cute little button nose in. We gotta get We gotta get the. I wonder what. I guess what is Moon Knight's like? Everyone's got kind of like a hero name. Like Batman's got the Dark Knight. What's Moon Knight? Is he like the Moon Knight or the Moon? Well, I guess that's his name. The Bird Knight, because he's got a bird pal. The Crazy Knight. I guess there is no perfect term for that. No Scarlet Speedster or Man of Steel. I guess that's more of a DC thing anyway. I mean, Spider has the Wall Crawler as a nickname, but I don't know. What am I rambling about? Maybe Moon Knight's one is just the fucked up Marvel guy. Maybe that's just like if I was in the Marvel universe, I would be terrified of Moon Knight more than most like vigilantes or bad guys. Like I would be legit scared of Moon Knight just because how fucked he is in the head. The guy is just absolutely a bonkers. He's got like, to be fair, he's got like 20 personalities running around in there. So who could blame him? Poor Mark Spector is having a hard time of it. I actually think he's scarier than the Punisher. And the Punisher is one scary mofo. But I just think Moon Knight's just a little bit more unhinged. Like the Punisher knows who he is. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's punishing for. But Moon Knight, I don't know what's going to set Moon Knight off. I feel like Moon Knight's always just ready to bust though. He's always just ready to start cracking heads. Ooh, wrong brush. Let's see how this guy's looking. Alright, we're making a bit of progress on this guy. I think we could even add a little bit more up here. I'm really underestimating how much shadow we're going to need on that chest. Just to really buff it up and add some scale to it. Get in here on our line work. Even on these shoulders, we could add a lot more darkness to them. You only adopted the darkness. I was molded by it, forged by it. By the time I saw the light, I was a man. But then it was nothing to me. Let's get that. How are we doing on time? Yeah, just over the hour mark. Okay. So I realize this is kind of a boring digital painting, because digital painting, there's not as many major changes as say something like a big inky illustration with lots of line work and like shadows and stuff like that. With this, it's a lot simpler. It's a lot more of add this here, add that there kind of thing. Just really refining and re-refining, checking and unchecking a lot more until we just kind of get what we're looking for out of it, basically. Let's see. And there's an awful lot of just messing around with layers until you find what just looks good. Let's add that a little bit. Now let's get in here. Chop this back on top. Duplicate it just so I can keep. I'm gonna refine this down a little bit, just a tiny bit. We're gonna blend this in. This is a fun way of getting these lines in. Am I on the right layer? I am. Really just add these on. Blend them in a little bit. One second. Let's see. What are we missing on this guy? Let's go back in here with a little black pencil and just keep working at him. Let's see. Sketching. I hope everyone else is being productive while doing this. I hope this is the kind of thing that everyone's just banging out some work or doing some stuff while they have a chance. And just fire me on as a bit of background noise. Because I think that's the fun way to do this. Throw this on, and then just start listening to whatever else you need to do, whatever else you need to work on. You do some cleaning, do some cleaning. do some drawing, draw along. Whatever you need to do to get done today, hope you're getting it done while giving this a listen. I hope that's the way your Mondays are going, because I know Mondays are the worst, but hey, at least we're sharing them today, this time. Let's see. I have an idea. Let's see. Let's close these for a second. You didn't see the fact that I was researching stuff before this. Let's see. City alleys. Let's grab a nice reference image here. Save image. Here's a fun little trick. If you don't have a background on one of these, you can just kind of put one together. Let's take you out here. Scale this up. Let's get the perspective right on this. Let's just add some color to it. Something I saw a long time back in a tutorial, but I never got around to trying out. So this is a good chance as any. Let's add these together, and then let's add a nice little bit of motion blur to it. Just a little something. So 1 second. No, maybe a bit of where we're going. Gaussian blur. See, too much blur, you can't see anything. So we're gonna just something like that. Make him look like he's moving fast. Let's see. We can use that to inform the lighting a bit more as well. Spray. See, now this is the fun part. We can just kind of experiment around with a few elements. Let's add you. Add a little bit of rain. Oh, what? I thought I had something there. How does that look? We duplicate it. No, still not feeling that. Maybe we switch to the white? No. Ooh, that's cool. Didn't know it did that. Yeah, 1 second. Scale these down. Fun way of making rain is if you just get some noise, like those for example, add a motion blur to it, pick the direction you want to go with it, and obviously duplicate that so we get the right intensity. Put those together. We can just, now you got a fun little rain effect that you can just kind of scale. Duplicate that if you want to make it even more intense. Like, something like that maybe. Now let's add in a little bit of ambiance. And I think nothing says ambiance better than a nice little bit of shadow. Let's add some nice shadows in here. Nice little smoke maybe? Ooh, smoke might be fun. Let's add in organic. I had one for this. Luminance, vintage. Here's the thing, I got so many brushes here, even the ones I use on a regular basis, it is annoying to try and find out where I've hidden them. Element, here we go. Let's add a little bit of cloudiness to this. Let's make it a little cloudy with a chance of meatballs, you know what I'm saying? A little cloudy, it's a little atmospheric, a little more dramatic. Let's see, what would go nice with this? Yeah, no, feeling like a gray maybe. Down this, scale this. Maybe more in a bluish gray. Let's just play around with that. No, we're getting there. Let's just hide those elements for now. Let's get back to the actual drawing itself. We can add all those extra little tiny bits later on. Let's see. Inking, airbrush. We gotta do something about those glowy eyes, because those guys, they be a glowing. Let's get the airbrush. That's the thing as well about this. I gotta jump brushes an awful lot. Why is that? Aha, wrong layer. Classic. Let's add a layer. Go nice and bright on this, and add those nice glowy eyes. Where's it? Yeah, get the original up. There we go. Add that. That's your boy right there. How can we turn those down a little bit? Let's start adding in that. See, this effect here is really gonna bug me. The way it's like there's like a bunch of lines going along the chest. So trying to fix that is going to be a absolute pain in the ass. But it is something that needs to be done. So I guess better now than never. Just inking. Turn that down a little bit and just line by line maybe. There's just so many of them. Maybe this is one of those things where we'll just duplicate it and just move them around a little bit. It's kind of cheating a little bit, but you know, when you got lines as widespread as these, like, it's either that or sit here all day and do them. And I don't think I want to do them all day, so I don't know if you guys want to do them all day either, or watch me do it. You just add those in, turn them to a multiply, and drop them down. Where's aha? Be handy if I had them all in the one layer. Be thinking ahead. Let's see, that's still not looking right. A lot of this is just experimentation until you get exactly the effect you are looking for. Let's just, there we go. Let's turn off my light work for a second. Add that in. Let's play around with the red. There we go. These highlights can be a little stronger. And we're going to go paint them a little bit more. Really get him looking nice and bright. He is the Moon Knight after all. We gotta get this Moon Knight looking moon bright. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the worst joke I have ever made. Alright, let's just lock these in a little bit more. Really brighten him up a bit. Really gotta brighten him up a little bit. He's a New York vigilante. He can't go out there looking stark and scary. He's gotta be bright and white and cool and colorful. Really get him lighten up. It'd be handy if I remembered what layer half of these are on. So that's gonna be a fun part in a minute when we go into our layers. We got like 20 layers. Happens all the time on these paintings where it's, I'll come back and I'm like, oh, how many layers did I use? Probably like 2 or 3, like one for the lighting, one for the color, and I look and it's like 40 layers. It's like, oh, that makes sense of why my iPad's running out of storage. Let's just add that in there. Really just kind of refining edges at this point. It is very much, that is the name of the game, and I've said it like 100 times on this, but it's a refine the edges game. You just gotta find what needs to be cleansed and fixed. Just go in there bit by bit and just get him looking right. Let's come in here, play with that. Gotta find where this part is in particular and fix that in a second. Let's add that. There we go. And once again, the same principle applies of you gotta move it to the shape we're looking for. So if we're here on the chest, we're gonna be rounding this right out for the sake of our illustration. Let's add this going up, up and out. There we go. That's adding that's adding way more shape to that straight away. That goes in here. Let's blend it a bit. See, the problem with playing with a new blending brush is the fear is always going too far with it, or not going far enough with it. It can go either way, honestly. Like Moon Knight, this can go almost any way. It can be crazy and wild, or look great and fantastic, blow us away, or be the scariest thing you've ever seen. It is just how we use this that's really going to be the most important. Let's add that. Okay, now we are talking. Let's really curve that down there a bit. Am I right in saying that's that. And nope. Why is that not blending properly? Welcome back to another episode of Why Isn't That Blending Properly? The only show on the internet where nothing blends properly for me. Alright, let's throw that on. Throw this. Throw our background elements. Okay, now it's coming together. And I know I've said that multiple times, but I feel like this is really starting to like flow into one. Let's add a new lighting element up here. I got an idea now. That's going to be kind of cool, I think, hopefully. We get the airbrush out, and we're going to cordon off a chunk of this guy. Just a bit. We're going to add a nice lighting area. I'm imagining like a street lamp up above his head. Kind of, that's my thought process on this, so bear with me. We just add, we get a big brush. We just like that, maybe it should be a different color. I know we already tried a yellow, but maybe like a warmer color, like an orange, maybe something like that. You'll see where I'm going with this in a sec, but add a Gaussian blur to that. So yeah, that's also gonna make it like ruminate a bit more. Let's tone it down slightly. Alright, now we're talking. Let's see. I'm trying to think what other elements can be added to this guy. It's just cleaning them up at this point. Let's see, inking. Let's hop back in on these layers. Let me put them together. Am I on the right layer? There we go. Let's just add that. And this, once again, nice refining edge. Just going to go along and use this as a way of separating out our pieces as well. Really just chunk those out. See, some of them can't be seen anyway, so we don't gotta worry about those. But little bits like here, moving in here, because I always get a good bit in here, and like kind of a refining edge on that. And along this, let's just add these. Just scale this down a little bit so it's not too rough to look at. There we go. Let's just add that. A little bit. Alright. So tell me, what do we think so far? How is he looking? How is our Mr. Knight? I think we're almost there. I feel like we're getting, if we're not 100%, we're in the higher parts. It's just cleaning and fixing them up at this point. This is normally the longest part of the process, but no, I think we're getting there. I think I'm pretty much, I don't want to say done. I don't want to jinx it and say we're done on this one, but it is, this is a good chunk of it. Let's blend that out a bit. Let's see, obviously there's probably a cleaner, more technical term for this, but blend it out a bit is my go-to at this point. I'm gonna hop through here. What layer is this? Am I on that layer? Trying to find what is in control of that one. There's the one. We missed a spot. Scale that. Let's add along here. Let me think. What else can we add to our boy? Oh yeah, the eye glow. That was something I keep saying we were gonna add. So let's add that now. Jesus, genie mackers. Look at all our layers. 16. Lovely stuff. We love to see it. Let's add that fun little eye glow man. The right layer. I am. Whoa, too much. Just a bit there. Just make it look like it's emitting from there. Let's make that screen. Where is additive? Did I mix it? There we are. Shine. Just little touches at this point to really finish him out. I had something for, oh yeah, the luminance bar. You've seen me use this one before, but it's just so cool and it's so handy to have. Add new layer. Where's yeah, be handy if it was turned up full. Light pen. Make more yellowish. Am I in the right layer? I am. Why is that not? Yeah, that should be reacting properly. Aha, it would help if the brush wasn't massive. There's a little plate in here as well. Put that along. And you know what? I know it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Normally these things go for about 2 hours, but honestly, I think we may just call it here. I'll be real. I'm vibing with this piece, but I think, not to be overstepping it, I think I'm pretty much done on. There's a few changes I'll come back to in a few days, but like overall, I think I'm pretty much there on this one. 1 second. Let's add a little bit of blue to this. It'll make sense in a sec. Make that a noise. Clipping mask. Bring that down. I'm trying to think what else can be added to this guy that hasn't already been added. I think a little bit of texturing maybe, but not an awful lot either way. Let's see. Materials. Organic, maybe. Oh, here we go. This could be a fun one to add. New layer. Oh, yeah. Let's scale that down. Yeah, that's going to look cool. Turn it on. Multiply. Scale that down. Bit of white. Airbrush. Why is that reacting the way it is? White, airbrush, hard mix. That should. Straight. You know what? I think I'm going to call it there. I think this has been a good hour and a half of work. Honestly. It's been a long day, a long bit of work. I'm happy to call it here. I hope everyone's enjoyed the stream. We should be back same bat time, same bat channel next week. Maybe we'll do some Moon Knight stuff. Maybe we'll do something else. Hit me up. Tell me what you think. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. See you later. Bye.